no idea what to do with these. I'm seriously stuck. They're vintage bookcase bases made by Kroehler and would have originally had big shelving units that sat on top of them, but I found them at the curb out for trash and thought they might make good end tables to sit on either side of a couch, or maybe extra storage as bedside tables in a guest room. But I'm stumped on what to do with them makeover-wise. I have thought about maybe adding a decorative transfer or some sort of texture like cane webbing to the panels on the doors. I also thought about adding some legs. I feel like that would make them a weird height though. Or maybe trying to chop the bottom 2 inches off and adding some stubby little feet. But the more I think about it, the more I'm feeling like a keep it simple, stupid approach is in order. Anyway, I'm gonna dive in and get these cleaned because they are absolutely filthy and a little musty smelling, and I guess we'll take things from there. Don't get me wrong, adding some sort of feet to these or details on the doors might be fun, but ultimately I don't think putting that kind of extra time or expense, because those are costly materials that eat up a lot of labor hours, is really gonna open up the finished product to a much broader market or increase the overall resale value of them enough to make it worthwhile, especially when I know that I can make them beautiful, interesting accent pieces just by fixing the torn up veneer, painting them, and making a simple swap to the hardware. They're super heavy, and by looking at the back, I can see that they're made mostly of particle board panels with some solid wood framing and this oak veneer over top. It's pretty typical mid-century construction. And look, if I push them together, they could be like a buffet or server situation. I'll definitely have to put that as a way to use them in the listing description since they're not standard pieces of furniture. Take these doors off first and get them out of the way. Oh, there's a screw missing. Okay, that's an easy fix. And these just pop out. Cool. Ooh. That one is attached. What are you attached to? How are you attached? Is it glued in? I can't see any screws or nails holding this shelf. So it's probably nailed in underneath the final veneer is my guess. Okay. Well, we'll just let that be and work around it. This is where the other shelf that did come out used to be, so I guess someone needed to move it at some point. It was held in place with dowels through the sides of the cabinet and into the shelf, so I wouldn't be able to get the other one out without making some cuts. I'm using some Simple Green, which is an all-purpose degreasing cleaner, and my scrub brush attachment to get all of this dirt and any old furniture polish or wax residue off. And then I'll rinse everything with some clean water and a microfiber rag. I think these were probably out in a shed for a bit, and once I get them cleaned up, the musty smell should go away. Gotta get the bottoms of your furniture too. Trust me when I say that it is absolutely horrifying to load a beautiful piece of freshly refinished furniture into a customer's car and see a bunch of cobwebs and spider eggs there hiding underneath.
Now that everything's clean and dry, I'm gonna start patching up all the missing chunks of veneer with some heavy duty wood filler. This stuff is just like Bondo. It's a 2-part epoxy where you mix the putty in the can with the cream hardener that comes in a separate little tube. And once the two are combined, they start a chemical reaction that hardens it. I try to only mix up little bits of this at a time because it can start to stiffen up before you have time to get it all applied. But make sure that you never dip any tools that have come in contact with that hardener back into the can because you can end up ruining the whole lot. I like to use this for repairs like this because it's tougher and more durable than regular wood filler, and it should hold up to the kind of wear and tear around the edges that could have been what caused this damage to start with a little bit better. It also sands down to a nice smooth finish and doesn't get that grainy or gritty texture like regular wood filler can have. Okay, the filler is dry enough for me to start sanding. So I'm gonna go over all of that to get it flush and then keep sanding over the rest of the surfaces to try and buff out as many of the scratches and dings as I can, and also create some nice micro texture in this factory finish for my primer to really grab onto. I'm using some 120 grit, which is a medium grit, because it's tough enough to remove the top layer of things and smooth stuff out, but not so aggressive that I might grind right through the veneer and expose some particle board underneath. And inevitably, I'll find a few more chips and nicks as I'm sanding, so I'll just keep mixing up little bits of filler and applying it as I go. To pick up all the sanding dust now, I'm gonna wipe everything down with some more clean water and a fresh rag so that when I put my primer on, it will stick to the furniture and not to the layer of dust on top.
Now that I've got everything laid out, I'm gonna start rolling on my primer. I love this shellac-based primer from Zinsser called Bin. I use it on pretty much all of my projects because it covers all of the bases that you could want out of a primer. It adheres really well to almost any surface. So if you're working with laminate or plastic, it's really good for that, but it will stick to the wood just as well. It also seals in wood tannins that are the natural oils in the wood that can sometimes bleed up or leach up and stain a new painted finish. It seals in odors really well. So these aren't smelling musty anymore now that I've cleaned them, but just in case, this is really good for that. And the other thing it's gonna do is create kind of a candy coating over all of the surfaces. I've got patches of filler, I've got patches of raw wood where I've sanded back to buff something out, and I've got a lot of the original finish still intact. So this is gonna give everything the same texture so that when I put my paint on top of it, it lays evenly and looks even over all of that.
Because it's so sticky, and also because it needs denatured alcohol or ammonia to clean it up, which is kind of nasty to use in my laundry sink, I don't like putting this through my sprayer, and I choose to roll it on instead.
I found a few more little spots that could benefit from extra filler, but I think I'm okay with just the one coat of primer. So I'll fill in all these little boo-boos that I found and then give this all a sand smooth. My spot filler just exploded out the bottom of the tube. Whoops. I finally remembered to go get a screw to reattach this. Can I do it blind is the question. No is the answer.
I gave everything a quick once over with some fine 400 grit to smooth out the filler and knock back any texture left by the roller. Wiped up the dust one more time with my damp rag, and then took a quick trip to Home Depot to grab a can of Behr's cabinet door and trim enamel to paint these with. I had them mix it in this Arrowhead Lake color, which I'd say is like a cornflower blue. I think it's a bit of an unexpected color choice, but could be really versatile in a bunch of different decor styles. I try to remember to always pour my paints through a strainer into my sprayer so I don't have to worry about any clumps or chunks that might be hiding in the can clogging things up. Spraying is the fastest and easiest way for me to paint my furniture, but this paint does roll really nicely too, so if spraying isn't a good choice for you, I'd recommend using this with a short napped roller that you've washed out first to remove as many little lint pieces as you can, even if the package says it's lint free. I checked out the flow settings to make sure that there was a good amount of paint coming out on a scrap piece of cardboard, and then moved over to start working my way around each cabinet. This paint is an indoor-outdoor enamel that dries to a super hard, durable satin finish. It's water-based, so it's really easy to clean up and doesn't have much of an odor. And it's also ready to recoat in just 2 hours. It's had really great coverage in every color I've used so far, but there's no need to try and get full coverage all in one coat. Putting enough paint on the surface to do that is just gonna get you lots of drips. Multiple lighter coats, whether you're spraying, rolling, or brushing, is always gonna get you a better result. It's really loud out here because the heater is going and the fan is going, but the first coat is done and dry. So I'm gonna spray on the second coat, and then tomorrow I'm gonna have to flip all the doors over and spray a second coat on the front side of those. I still need to figure out hardware. Respirator back on. I made sure the paint was still flowing nicely, and then sprayed on coat number 2. I'm going to put a few paper towels down on top of the paint cans so they don't mark or stick to the fresh paint. I did leave my gun loaded with paint overnight too, so I'm just going to clean the tip off with a little bit of acetone to make sure none of the holes in the nozzle are covered with dried paint, and then I can spray 2 more coats on the fronts of these doors. This stuff doesn't need any additional top coating over it to be really durable and scrubbable, so once it's dry, I can start putting the cabinets back together. I did also give the crusty old hinges a quick wipe down with some more simple green and then sprayed them with some fresh gold spray paint. I've had these beautiful kind of eclectic knobs that I found at HomeSense for probably over a year now, and I haven't used them yet because I always need more than 4 knobs on a project. So I think this is finally going to be the perfect spot to use them. Okay, let's go back. Remember, reminisce about these crusty, musty, dug out of the shed and left at the curb cupboards. And here is the grand reveal of my new blue version. I see these fitting into a coastal beach house or a grand millennial maximalist styled space. Like I said, either as side tables for a sofa or nightstands beside a bed. They could also work as great storage pieces in an office, but no matter where they end up, it's bound to be better than the garbage truck they were destined for. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this upcycle, so be sure to leave me a comment before you go, or just keep watching some more colorful makeovers here, and I will catch you all next time.